Hi all, in this lecture we will focus on present perfect tense from Unit 2 of the textbook. In this lecture we will just simply focus on the basic understanding of what present perfect tense is and also when and how to use present perfect tense in conversation and also in writing. So last week we have studied different tenses including simple present tense, simple past tense and simple future tense from Unit 1 of the textbook. So there are many uses of simple present tense. So for example, we use simple present tense to talk about science, facts, to talk about general truth. We use simple present tense to talk about routines and habits and also things that would happen in the future but it is confirmed to happen in the future. And simple past tense we use to talk about something that happened in the past and no longer happening in the present. So the action has finished in the past, so we use simple past tense. And simple future tense, something that happened in the future, a situation that would happen in the future, so we use simple future tense. We use will or going to describe what would happen in the future. So simple future tense is used when we want to talk about an action that will happen in the future. We use simple future tense to talk about to make a promise that I will help you tomorrow, so we promise. We also use simple future tense to talk about to be polite or to offer a help to other people. So will you help me carry this bag, please? So those are the different uses of simple present tense, simple past tense, and simple future tense. So this week, the focus is present perfect tense. So what is the difference and how and when to use present perfect tense? So in what situation do we use present perfect tense? So the first use of present perfect tense is when um, we are in a situation when we want to describe something that started in the past and it still happens in the present, so or it continues to happen in the present. For example, if we take a look at the graph here and the arrow that I highlight here, let's say we have a situation where something that started here in the past, so we have a present and then we have the future, and something that started in the past and it still happens today in the present at the time when we are talking about it and might happen in the future. So in that kind of situation we use present perfect tense. So if you have your textbook with you, you can refer to page 41 from unit 2, where you can say um, Paul Niken has been a photojournalist since 1995, or he has photographed underwater animals for a long time. So something that started in the past and it still happens until today. So we use present perfect tense. So the first use is um, to describe a situation that started in the past and continues to happen to the present. So something that started in the past but continues to happen until the present. So other example that we can give is there are a lot of examples that you can see from the textbook. For example, when we say um, so as given in the textbook, Paul has been a photojournalist since 1995. So if we study this example and match it to the graph here, we can say that this is 1995, where Paul started working as a photojournalist, and Paul has been working until the present day, so until today. So we say Paul has been a photojournalist since 1995, and today when we are talking about Paul, he is still a photojournalist. So Paul has been a photojournalist since 1995. So when we have present perfect tense, what we have is has been. So that is present perfect tense. So whenever we are using present perfect tense, the rule is we need to have has or have plus past participle. So let us take a look at the second example. He has photographed underwater animals for a long time. So he has photographs. We have has been, and he has photographed underwater animals for a long time. So that is present perfect tense. So he has photographed, that means he started photographing since 1995, and he has photographed a lot of underwater animals until the present day. We are talking about what Paul is doing at the moment or in the present days. So he is still doing the photographing of underwater animals. So he has photographed underwater animals for a long time. So something that started in the past and it still happens in the present. So that is present perfect tense. So when we talk about present perfect tense, we have words like since, and then we have words like for a long time. So like last week when we talked about simple present tense, we have the word every, we have the word frequently, um, we have the word um, always. Um, if we talk about simple past tense, we have yesterday, last night, last week, or 2 weeks ago. When we talk about present perfect tense, we have since 1995, since small, since childhood, since 5 years ago, or for a long time. So the second example, the second reason why we use present perfect tense is to talk about something that happens repeatedly during a period of time from the past until the present. So to describe a situation that repeats for a number of times from the past until the present. So if you take a look at the graph here, so this is an example of an action that started in the past, and it happens repeatedly in the past until the present. So if you take a look at the notes, the example given in textbook page 41, some of the examples are Paul has gone to the Arctic many times. So Paul has gone to the Arctic many times. So has gone is the present perfect tense, and we have many times here. So if you take a look at the graph here, so this is the past and this is the present. So between the past and the present, there are a couple of times where Paul has been to the Arctic, to the North Pole. So the first time was maybe many years ago. So this was the first time, and this was the second time, and this was the third time in the past, and in the present, Paul is still going to the Arctic. So because it started in the past, it happened quite a few times in the past, and it still happened in the present. So we use present perfect tense. So we say Paul has gone to the Arctic many times. We don't say Paul went to the Arctic many times. We don't use simple past tense. Well, people can understand, but grammatically it is incorrect. Or we can also say human have been to the space multiple times. So that means we have been as the present perfect tense and multiple times. So that means it fits whatever we have here in this graph. So the first time human beings went to the space was maybe 50, 60 years ago when Neil Armstrong or Yuri Gagarin went to the space or to the moon. And after that, there were many times where human beings have explored the space or went to the moon. And then until today, people are still sending rockets to the space, or people go to the space station. So it started in the past, it happened many times in the past, and it still happens today in the present, and might happen in the future. So this is a situation when we want to talk about it, we use present perfect tense. So we say humans have been to the space multiple times. We don't say humans went to the space multiple times. Well, it can be understood, but grammatically, because started in the past, still happens in the present, so we use present perfect tense. We say humans have been, not humans went to the space multiple times. And so basically that is the idea of present perfect tense. Also we use present perfect tense to talk about a situation um, that a situation that happened at an unspecific time in the past, but still relevant in the present. So something that happened at an unspecific time in the past but still relevant in the present. For example, when you are asking a question, um, have you ever done anything dangerous? So it is a question. So have you, so we have here, have you ever done? So have you done? So have and done, we have has or have and past participle. So that is present perfect tense. And then we have the word ever here. So have you ever done anything dangerous? So when we are asking this kind of question, we are not talking about 25 years ago or in 1995 or a specific time in the past. The time is unspecific. It is not specific. Could be any time in the past. And the question is still relevant in the present because that person might still do something that is dangerous today in the present. So have you ever done anything dangerous? Um, So present perfect tense can be in a form of a statement, can also be in a form of a question. Um, Another example is when you say um, I have played piano since many years ago. So have played is present perfect tense, and then you have many years ago. So have played, I have played piano since many years ago. So this was many years ago when I started playing piano, and I've been playing piano in the past, and until the present I still know how to play piano. So I have played piano since many years ago. I don't say I played piano since many years ago, but I have played piano since many years ago because it started in the past, it happened in the past, and it is still relevant in the present. So we have since. So since means something that started in the past, continued to happen in the past, and still happens or still relevant in the present. So what about the form of present perfect tense? When we have present perfect tense, we need to have has or have plus past participle. So what is past participle? So here we have, here we have has, and Paul has been. So we have has or have plus past participle. So past participle is basically past tense. So the rule when we are using present perfect tense, when we are describing a situation when we need to use present perfect tense, what we need to have is has or have plus past tense or past participle. So to elaborate further on past participle, for example, when we have a word like cook, the past tense is cook. When we have celebrate, the past tense is celebrated. When we have walk, the past tense is walk. So normally for past tense, we add d or ed. But there are some words where we don't add d or ed, but we change the form. For example, eat becomes ate, and we have another form which is eaten. Drive becomes drove, and we have another form which is driven. Same goes to forgive becomes forgave, becomes forgiven. So for regular verbs like this, we have cook and cooked, celebrate and celebrated, and walk and walked. But for irregular verbs, we have a third form number 3. So this is what we call as past participle. So when we say I have eaten, so you have to say I have eaten, not I have ate. So you don't say I have ate, but I have eaten. But if you say cook, I have cooked, so past tense. But when it comes to irregular verb, you have to take form number 3. So I have driven since morning. So have driven, I have driven since morning. So this is morning, so you have been driving, and now you in the present you have finished driving or you are still driving. So I have driven since morning. You might continue to drive in the future, or in that afternoon, or still in that morning. So I have driven since morning. So have driven is the the present perfect tense, and you don't say I have drove, you don't say I have drive, but you say I have driven, because the rule is when it comes to irregular verb like this, you take the third form. When it comes to regular verb, you take the second form. So this is what we call as past participle. So I guess that is all about the introduction of present perfect tense. Hope you understand what present perfect tense is, and hope you can use present perfect tense when you are describing these situations, number 1, number 2, and number 3. So um, that is all for the lecture. Please do the practices that is mentioned on eCampus from the textbook. So thank you very much. See you in the class next week.